Can you tell them we're live, Raymond? We're good, Ross? Okay, good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second meeting of August 2020, Lawrence County Council. The press has been properly notified, the agenda has been posted. This time I'll call the meeting to order, and this time I'll invite. Please stand.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for the rich and many blessings we have and the ability to be here tonight to discuss the business of Lawrence County, to discuss the things that we need to do to make Lawrence County better. Lord, we ask you to be with those who are bereaved tonight from loss and those who are suffering from sickness, that you be with them and touch them and heal. Be with us in everything that we do tonight. May it be pleasing in your sight. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Council, I would request that you turn your microphone on and speak loudly into it so that the televised audience can hear us. Next is the approval of agenda. However, I need to make one change under new business number 9, letter G, telework policy and agreement. As chairman, I am assigning that to the council as a committee as a whole. So letter G will be removed and assigned to the council, entire council, as a committee of the whole. Are there any other additions or deletions to the submitted agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the amended agenda?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion by Mr. Carroll. Second by Mr. Patterson. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. 7-0. Next is approval of minutes from the August 11th, 2020 regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
So moved.
The motion by Mr. McDaniel. Second by Ms. Anderson. Any additions or deletions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by raising your right hand. 7-0. Next item on the agenda is an executive session for one economic development matter. Is there a motion to enter into executive session for specific purposes of economic development matter? Motion by Mr. Patterson.
Second.
Second by Ms. Anderson. All in favor signify by raising your right hand. 7-0. The time is 5:33. At this time, we will enter into executive session in the conference room and then reconvene here in public. Thank you. Okay, the time is now 5:37. We are out of executive session and no action was taken. Pretty fast executive session, wasn't it? Next is report to council. The first one is Lawrence County Small Business Grant. I've been waiting on this for a very long time. So this is exciting news. I'd like to recognize the CEO of the Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Amanda Munn.
Thank you. Hold on just a moment. Bear with me. Can't see it. John, I should have had you do this.
Give it a second. There you go.
Okay. All right, so thank you so much for having me this evening. Very excited to come in and to report to all of you about this. Thank you again for this opportunity. I'll probably say that 50 times through this, but if it were not for county council, this obviously would not have happened, and we wouldn't have been able to offer these grants to our small businesses. So I'll put together a quick presentation just for visual purposes. I hope you'll be able to see it. To your right over here is probably the best screen for all of you. We put together a committee. We wanted a representative of Lawrence County and some of the different organizations. Obviously, we probably could have made this committee much larger, but we tried to be very selective. So we did our Main Street organizations, Adele Aldusin from Main Street Clinton, Jonathan Ira from Main Street Lawrence, because they work closely with small businesses, Garrett McDaniel, District 3 from County Council, as you all know, here this evening. Brown Patterson, District 4 County Council. Ernie Seegers, who is the current Chamber Board Chair. And then Ariel Redmond, who is the Resource Development Manager for the United Way of Lawrence County. And then, of course, I was a part of this committee as well. So we did a survey and we put it our, I guess, an application. We did it through SurveyMonkey. It was a very easy to fill out application, had quite a few questions, but we used it for multiple reasons, and I'll explain that in a few minutes. We had 64 applicants that participated in this or requested funds. So out of those applicants, one of the questions was how many years in business, and I just pulled a few of the statistics just because I thought they might be interesting to you all about the ones that were participating and asking for funds as small businesses in Lawrence County. So 43% of those businesses have been here more than 11 years. So that shows you we've got a really good, strong foundation there. They've been here for a long time. And from the comments that they put in there, they're looking to stay around, thankfully. With all the applicants, it was over 160 full-time equivalent employees. So for our workforce, it definitely shows you the impact that those small businesses have here in Lawrence County. Another one of the questions asked about, it was just and it said it in here, obviously it's on there, it just says it's for reporting purposes, just out of curiosity. We asked the question and 22% of the people that applied were minority, 27% were, non-minority women, a little over, close to 8%, I guess, were veterans, and then it goes on from there. None of the above was 36%. And again, we would just put in some questions to kind of get a feel for who was applying for these grants, what type of small businesses we have. So what do the businesses do? You can look at the graph and at a glance and see there's a huge variety of businesses here. I did pull out some very specific ones, though, to tell you all. One was a radio station, dance studio, actually there was a couple of those, a dry cleaner, screen printing and embroidery, a sign company, pest control. We've got salons, we've got catering and restaurant, coffee shops. So there was a huge variety of businesses that applied for this grant. Another thing that I pulled out for you was the impact that COVID has made on these businesses. And it's just really quick blurbs, but pulled directly from what they said, that like one of them, their business dropped 40%, one was off about 60%, supply and demand are upside down. Governor closed us for 6 weeks, still had to pay our bills. We were forced to close 47 of our 65 busiest days of the year. So through the funding from county council, we were able to give out 33 grants to these businesses. We did it all on a point system that the committee came up with on whether the application was completed, whether or not they received any other funding through PPP or other resources. And like I said, it was a point system. So 27% of these businesses received $1,000, and then 73% of these businesses received $1,500. So all those the funds have already gone out. They were all mailed out, I believe it was Friday of last week. And so they have been received. The letters have gone out to the businesses telling them they did not receive funding, but we also did tell them, thank you, John. We did tell them how much we appreciate them being a business in Lawrence County, and we do plan to continue to support them. I did pull out a couple of other little quotes. I will not read all of these to you. But one of them that I wanted to just kind of highlight is a comment from one of the businesses that said, "This demonstrates Lawrence County's commitment to helping smaller businesses such as ours." So I thought you all might appreciate that. And there were many other comments, but this was to answer one of the questions in the application. So this is a few of the recipients. They sent in pictures, showing their appreciation, and it shows a wide variety of people that were impacted by the funding from County Council. All of these people, all 33, will submit reports. They're due the end of October with like an overview of what their funding was used for. And I'll be more than happy to come back again and give you that information. So thank you all very much for your role in supporting these businesses and allowing us to be a part of this, pulling this committee together and funding. Like I said, I think it really shows that the county cares about our local small businesses. And I know that you all know the importance of having them here, that each one of them adds to the unique qualities that we have in Lawrence County that makes us great as a whole. So thank you again, but there is more. So for the chamber, there's still a lot that we have to do. We appreciate the funding. We certainly want to give everybody funds, but that is not our main goal as a Chamber of Commerce. So one of the questions, or a few of the questions that were put in the application, were for us to use to learn from these businesses as we had their attention and hopefully go forward with our mission to help them on an individual basis. So one of the questions was, what is the obstacles that you have doing business in Lawrence County? And there were, I think, 62 people answered that question. So I just pulled out a few of them. But to go over a few of those, keeping money in our town, so many people will drive out of town to spend money, competing with bigger businesses that have more help. Financially, we are barely getting by and struggling to make payroll every week. With the COVID outbreak, people are afraid to dine in, and we do not have a drive-through. And that was a very specific restaurant that said that. So many of these businesses also, as they filled out, gave us this information, and we thought it was very interesting that 16% of these businesses have no kind of either internet or social media presence. So they're basically advertising themselves through either word of mouth or through, I guess, drive-bys. Not sure exactly, maybe they're using the local media, which would also be great, right, Dick? So we know they're using other resources, hope they are, but this was very educational for us to hear from them about what their obstacles are, see what they're currently using as their resources. And then we also learned that 48%, 48.48 to be exact, have never created a business plan. And 40% of them have created one, but do not keep it up to date and do not follow it. So, of course, again, that is where the chamber comes in, and we will continue to work with these businesses through our partnerships with Bill Calhoun, with the Greenwood Small Business Development Consultants, with the Main Street organizations. Main Street Lawrence is currently doing Lawrence it's located in downtown Lawrence, but we'll definitely use that as a resource and learn from what they're doing. But they got a Grills grant where they're doing a Lawrence Main Street business tech audit. We also will continue to educate our small businesses as much as we can through workshops and educational opportunities. We'll use our resources and we'll continue to support and promote our Think Local efforts, our Shop Local campaign, and encourage all Lawrence County residents to think about these small businesses when they're shopping, when they're making their financial decisions, and to continue to support them as much as they possibly can. And then, of course, I can't go without saying that it would be great to possibly do another grant in the future at some point, maybe for some small business startup, or if there was an opportunity and the impact of COVID continues, or if there is some larger impact later on this year, keeping your minds open for any other opportunity would be fantastic. So with all of that, I know that was a lot of information. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Well, I'll begin in my comments. First of all, thank you, and thank the committee. I'd like to publicly thank you and Brown and Garrett and those other folks that served on this. And it makes me feel good to see tax dollars put right back into our local businesses. This is so important to me. I'm gonna take a little time. I'm gonna let each council member, if you'd like to say something about it. I'm gonna begin with the two serving on the committee first, Brown and Garrett. So either one of y'all.
I really just want to publicly thank Amanda. She really did the heavy lifting on this, getting it together, creating the structure. We kind of just showed up and reviewed, but she really put a lot of effort into this, and you can tell she really cared about what was going on. And also thanks for council for approving the funding.
I would say for that. Thank you, Amanda. Most folks have probably no clue how much work you actually did put into this. I mean, we talked a couple of times, just the hours you did. So thank you for all your hard work, and thank you to council for their approval. It's nice to see some of the big business tax dollars going to help some of the small businesses here in town. So thank you.
Mr. Garrett?
Yeah, I think it was great for people to see what the chamber actually does. You hear a lot, people think they know what the chamber does or don't think they do anything, but they are out there every day beating the drum for business in this county. It's fantastic. We're just blessed to have them.
Ms. Anderson?
Just gonna do the same sentiments, and I thank you for the work that was done. And I am glad that we were in the position and had the opportunity to help, and then initiated some help. A lot of times people get help, but they don't initiate anything. So I'm glad we were able to do that. So I'm glad that we affected someone's life, and hope that we made it better for them and show that we did care. And in turn, it'll keep spreading.
Mr. Wood?
I just like to ditto what everyone said, and thank Amanda for heading this thing up, and David for coming up with the idea to do it. There's been many times that I've heard while I sat on this county council that the county didn't do anything for the small businesses in this county. Even though this is a small gift, if that's the way you want to put it, it's something that county council didn't do it, the taxpayers in this county did. And that's who these people that receive these grants need to thank, is the people in this district. I mean, the people in this county, the taxpayers in this county, because that's where the money comes from. We just, proprietors of the money, I guess you could say, and I can't think of a better way to give back to the people of this county. And thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm, and make everybody look good for the work that you do. Thank you.
Any closing comments, Amanda?
I just want to say off of what Garrett just said about the committee, they did a fantastic job and it helped me stay grounded and be very objective about the decisions that were made. So it was very hard decisions because of course we want to support all these businesses, and no amount of funds, they're greatly appreciated, but they all run out quickly no matter what, because we always can do so much more, but we certainly plan to, as a chamber, to carry on with the information that we've collected and support these businesses the best that we can for Lawrence County. So thank you all.
And I think it kind of dovetails nicely into the LCDC, and Jonathan's here. And hopefully we can use some of that information for LCDC to possibly promote some small business developments. So good work for the present and good work for the future. So
Yes, well,
Thank you for-
LCDC and the chamber have a great relationship. We certainly will work together.
great.
All right,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you all.
Next, I'd like to recognize Lisa Kirk, our finance director, for our monthly financial report for the fiscal year 2020-2021.
Good evening. You should have received your July financials in your packet. They are online, the detail is online, along with the check register and the Bank of America transactions. Does anyone have any questions?
Does any council member have any questions regarding the revenues and or expenditures?
I'd just like to ask my regular question. How we look?
We look fine for now.
For now, is that what you say?
We have a lot more reconciling to do for 2020 before we can release those final numbers, but everything's still looking positive.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, Amanda, any other questions before I move on? I said Amanda, I meant Lisa, I was looking at Amanda. Lisa, if you'll remain right there, and I'll call up Joey Avery for the COVID-19 update, and I think you're gonna give us an update for the CARES Act monies received. So Joey, where are you, Joey? Right here. Okay, come on up, you'll be behind Lisa.
Joey and I just worked together to file the reimbursements on the COVID-19 funds with FEMA. We filed a reimbursement for $55,716. For the SC CARES Act, we filed for supplies, services, and payroll in the amount of $120,797 for a grand total of $176,513. We still have not heard as far as acceptance or when we may receive those funds, but they have been filed.
So what she's saying is the county has filed for reimbursement in the amount of $176,000 plus, with eventually more to come for other reimbursements, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions about the CARES Act reimbursement request? All right, Joey, if you will give us an update.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, that's the most important information as far as the COVID update. We've asked several times, are we going to try to get any money back? And you see that Ms. Kirk has really worked hard on compiling all those numbers. And I always start with the numbers also. If you look on the DHEC website, you look on the dashboard, and I get these numbers from the dashboard. Total testing for Lawrence County has been totaled at 11,668. Excuse me. Total cases is 1,440 with 9 probable. We've had 66 hospitalized. Unfortunately, we've had 54 deaths. That's 50 deaths and 4 probable, which is 54 deaths. And we've had one reported just recently from July the 16th. One on 8/23 was an elderly individual, and one 8/17 was also elderly. Today's numbers, we had 24 new cases. That's one of the highest numbers of a daily count that we've had in some time. So the virus is still out there. Had 909 new cases for today, 19 new probable, and 18 additional deaths.
That's statewide, right?
Statewide, yes, sir. So the numbers across the state, 112,088 confirmed cases, 1,400 probable cases, Confirmed deaths, 2,408, and 121 probable. A lot of deaths from this virus. As of yesterday, a total of 968,583 tests have been conducted in the state. As of yesterday, DHEC reported statewide 5,226 tests, not including antibody tests, were conducted with a percentage positive of 17.4%. We know that the numbers are still out there, and we will continue to be proactive. And some of the things that we're doing to be proactive is testing site partnerships. And we recently had a testing site 19 August at the Exchange Building, MUSC, tested somewhere in excess of 100 folks. The 21st, this past Friday, we had DHEC come in, even though it rained out part of our day. They had a good day. This coming Friday, 28 August, we'll be back at the Exchange Club, and DHEC will be set up from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is a drive-through, and I think DHEC has on their website, they can pre-register also. 2 September, we'll be at the Exchange Building once again from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll be partnering with Carolina Health and DHEC. And our visits to the Exchange Club building is Councilwoman Campbell of Lawrence City. She has an initiative that she's been giving out voter registration information and census information. And she has her volunteers lined up to show up. So they'll be there from the time that we open the testing to the time that we close. 9 September, we'll be at Laurel Hill Baptist Church, site in Waterloo. That'll be 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 16 September, we will be at Chestnut Ridge Baptist Church from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., partnering with Ceph Regional. 23 September, we have a 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the books by SCDHEC, but we have not confirmed a location. Since the schools are going back into session, we're having to look at different locations that have good traffic patterns. Because one thing that we don't want to do is create traffic problems out there on the roadways, make them unsafe. So we're looking around at different places. 30 September, we'll be back at the Exchange Building, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. with Ceph Regional Health. And October 7th, we already have a partner that's on tap to test. And again, we're going to be looking for a different location. We would like to try a walk-up testing site. So that's something that we're looking at with those two vacant locations there. And we'll be working those details out. But the council can see that we've been very hard at work trying to bring as much testing in here. We hope, as you see there will be a testing site at least once a week through the 1st of October and possibly through the end of October. So we're requesting different resources that we have to help us complete those partnership testing sites. Now, in order to continue the trend downward of our cases, it has been proven that wearing facial covers have been a very positive and strong mitigation process. So we want to encourage people to continue to wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands often, avoid touching your eyes and nose, avoid close contact with sick people, stay home if you are sick, clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and areas. And that's something that our county employees are doing a wonderful job on. We have gotten those, all the resources they need to sanitize their work areas and try to keep them as safe as possible. I think, Billy, you want to touch on the sneeze guards? Billy gave me that update before we came in, and he's been working so hard on that. I want him to brief you on that.
Yeah, we have partnered with Greenwood Flat Glass, who does a lot of the glass shields and everything in some of the offices. We did check before we've done this, entered into this a couple of months ago, that this was COVID acceptable to be reimbursed for. They have started putting in the framework for the glass shielding in clerk of court's office, tax assessor's office, and at the main lobby atrium there where the sheriff's department, some of the deputies will sit there sometimes. So they have already started that. Look to have all that wrapped up within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So all that's going good.
What was the name of that building again?
It's Greenwood Flat Glass. They have done them all over Greenwood County, the courthouses and all the county buildings for Greenwood, plus around the upstate also.
For my other job, would you call me with that
Yes, sir.
contact?
Yes, sir. They are way behind. We've been waiting about 6-7 weeks on this, so.
There's another company in Lawrence County that's doing the same thing, that's where it shows plastic.
Plastics.
They have sent plastic all over the United States.
Yeah.
They got pallets of it down
We called them from the school district. Yeah. They're up on 25 on
there.
you.
But we'll look to have this wrapped up in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So all that's going well for us.
So that will take us into the future as far as protection for our employees. And the aesthetics of it will fit right in with the building over there, so it will be nice and aesthetically accepted. I will I will have Betty Ann and Ms. Walsh to email these dates to the council and to the media also, so they'll have that collective group, and we'll continue to add as we move forward.
Okay, before each of you sits down, does any council members have any comments or questions of these three folks?
When you see on the media, you see something about maybe one death and 19 new cases of this. That just means that you tested 19 new people that tested positive. It don't mean they were hospitalized.
No, sir, it does not. It does not.
And I'm gonna offer this right quick in some kind of short way. I know a couple in Greenwood, her and her husband both contacted this virus. She has had cancer. They got very sick, both of them were hospitalized. The doctors come in and recommended that they send her to hospice. Her husband refused to let them send her to hospice. Since then, this lady has recovered and she's fully recovered from the COVID-19 disease. So I just wonder how many people that have suffered death and didn't have to. We don't know that, none of us know it,
Right.
but it does happen. But she's doing real well and she's being rehabilitated at National Health Care.
And I don't have this as a statistic or anything. This is just Joey's personal observation of the materials that I read. There are far more people recover from COVID than has died, at least in the state of South Carolina. Now, if you're elderly, middle-aged, young, and you got a lot of underlying medical issues, certainly that's something that will be affected. There are a lot of cases out there that have been asymptomatic but tested positive, never had a symptom, not one.
While we're still on that, Kevin, I see you sitting out in the audience. I think we've tested some of our EMS workers, but to my knowledge, we have not had any that tested positive. I probably should have said that. Yeah. Not on wood. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, without asking any individual questions, any individual names. Any other questions from?
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
On Joey's, the recovery rate according to DHEC 95.5%. So out of those 1449 that you reported, that means 74 people are still walking around in the county with 67,000 people with the disease. So I'd say we're doing pretty good compared to other places in the United States.
And I talked to those low numbers, but I still push the mitigation factors that we talked about, wearing the facial covers, social distance, staying away from sick people, So we've done a great job in Lawrence County driving those numbers down.
And Billy, the library is still operating as is, and that's the one that's still going well?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Well, thank you, Billy, Joey, and Lisa, and John for the leadership, and, among all other employees as well. Thank you. Next is moving into old business, update fiscal year 2021 board and commission status. You received information from Ms. Walsh. Please take this to read it. I've asked the county attorney to look through it. He will come back with some recommendations to us, but at this point, I'm not prepared to do anything with this work except give it to you for your information. Does any council member have any comments or questions?
I've got one.
All right, go ahead.
The Assessment Board of Appeals, according to this paper, does it still exist?
What page you on, Ms. Johns?
It does, but it's only based on people, since April, it is still operational. You might look at it, it's by citizen request.
And with reassessment coming up, it's probably going to be a necessary continuation of that. There are a couple, and I think Ms. Walsh did a good job putting this together. We need to look at the legislation, and I'll report to council with a memo on that as to what we can do next to either consolidate or eliminate. But the Assessment Board of Appeals is certainly one that needs to be in operation.
Okay. Any others? Okay. Next, I'd like to recognize Andy Howard for a request for approval for an airport for a grant for the airport for runway lot.
2 grants.
2 grants, I apologize.
Well, what I'm here for tonight is to ask for the acceptance of an additional amount of funding from the state for an existing grant that we have. And also to ask for approval for a new grant that we have to do the work that the old grant designed and bid out. So first thing, I guess this will be a resolution for both, and I'll refer to Sandy if he has anything to add or what we need to do in addition. But the first grant is for a match of $6,900. Originally, our share would have been $13,000, and the state has offered to pay, the State Aeronautics Commission has offered to pay half of that. So the state will share that cost to county by $6,900. So if we want to vote on that one at a time, it'd probably be best.
The first resolution, 2020-26C, is outlines the 5% to accept the offer, grant offer from the state, and to fund the other 5% from account 110-513.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve resolution 2020-26C? Motion by Ms. Anderson. Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Wood. Any discussion?
Here, I have a question on the necessity of the resolution. When we did that $30,000 grant 3 months ago, give or take, we had no resolution for that. Is this a normal thing, or what's the purpose of the
Well,
resolution?
you have an offer from the aeronautics, and you have the same thing with the next one for the FAA. They give you an offer for a grant.
What was the $30,000 we did before?
I have no clue.
That was the CARES Act, and that was the funding from, I'm not sure how it would go, if it would be different. It's not, I guess it would be an offer. It's just, well, I guess it is an offer, but they're gonna give it to us. So $30,000 is.
These are specific grant offers of specific amounts that, in my opinion, they need to be accepted and documented by resolution. And then that's what the sign off, the certification that I have signed says the council has approved it by whatever means.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. 7-0. Next.
All right, the next, grant that we're asking for approval for is the offer of $640,000 and change for, the completion of this work that the last grant, designed and bid out. That grant is 100% FAA funded. This is the first time that it's ever happened in Lawrence County with us that the FAA funded a grant 100%. But I do believe it's based on the low bids that we received in doing the work, but it's to replace every runway light that we have out with LED, updated, replace all the control systems, and run miles and miles of wire.
Okay, is there a resolution number different than the last one?
2020-28C.
28, is there a motion to approve, resolution 2020-28C, in the amount of $640,864 from the FAA? So moved. Motion by Mr. Daniel. Second by Ms. Anderson. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. 7-0. Andy, thank you. That's a lot of money coming to our county to improve the airport. And we appreciate the work you and the commission does. And I believe Mr. Seegers is here. He serves on that commission. Is that right?
He does.
Mr. Seegers, you'd like to say anything?
No, we appreciate it. Andy did a great job out there. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the support, council.
All right. Thank you, Andy. Next, we'll move into new business. The first is a resolution 2020-27C, Project Sugar Rush. Is there a motion to approve on first, approve this resolution 20?
This is identifying the project for purposes of the first reading of the ordinance that will be followed.
So we need the approval of the resolution and the approval of the first reading, two
Yes.
separate approvals?
That's separate approval.
Okay, we need separate approval. First is 27-C. Is there a motion to approve Project Sugar Rush?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Carroll. Second by Ms. Anderson. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. 7-0. Next is a request for approval of first reading ordinance number 881, Project Sugar Rush. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 881? So moved. Motion by Mr. McDaniel.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. 7-0. Next, I'd like to recognize County Attorney, Mr. Cruikshanks, for an extension request for CCL label, a cumulative tax document. Mr. Cruikshanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Many of you remember Avery Dennison when they first came in. This is the successor to Avery Dennison. They invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars in Lawrence County over a period of 20+ years. One of the first fee and lieu we ever had in Lawrence County was with Avery Dennison. CCL Label took them over a number of years ago. They created a new fee and lieu back in 2014. They have met all the criteria in the investment period, what they are asking, which is permissible under 12.02 of the fee agreement, to extend their investment period by 3 years with the stipulation that they will invest at least another $5 million in that plan. They've always met the employment criteria and the investment criteria. We would strongly recommend that we extend the investment period. It's allowable simply by a letter. We have prepared a resolution just to document that, which we would ask the council to approve the extension as stated.
You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve the fee and lieu extension through December 31, 2023 for CCL label with the minimum investment of $5 million over the same period? Motion by Ms. Anderson.
Second.
Second by Mr. McDaniel. Any discussion?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. What was the initial investment back on the December 9th, 2014 PLO?
30 million on that end. And before that, Mr. Baxter, there were many investments.
Why only a 6-year PLO and we just did a 30-year for this new company?
No, this is the investment period.
When the time they have to invest.
All of your FELOs have a 5-year investment window to, if they say we're gonna invest $20 million, they got 5 years to do it. Unless they ask for an extension. It has nothing to do with the fee, the fees.
So they didn't meet their original.
Oh, no, yes, they did.
They met it, they want to add more investment to it, so they just, over the next 3 years, they're gonna spend $5 million more on what they've already spent.
How long is it, when's their FELO run out?
30 years, that's 20.
30 years, it'll be 20, 30, 20,
45.
20, 44, yeah, 2044. But it doesn't have anything to do with the FELO, it has to do with their investment window. This way they can take advantage, instead of doing a holding FELO, which was not necessary, they can extend, and any company under the fee agreements can extend their investment window up to 10 years or 5 more years if they have a 5-year window. Unless they're hundreds of millions of dollars, and then they only have a 7-year investment window, which they can extend beyond that. This is a good deal for everybody concerned.
Anything else? Just any other company that wants to invest, you don't have to have our permission to do it, please do so.
You continue to invest.
I just appreciate CCL and they're keeping that facility open and running. There were times when the stamps, they were making stamps down there. Got some concerns, but I'm glad they're there. All right, we've got a motion that's been properly seconded. I call for the vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next is a request for approval for EMS software licensing agreement. This time I'll recognize Kevin Holdridge.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the council, for having me up here this evening. In your packet, you should have the contract for the mobile CAD software, which was approved this past budget season. It has been through legal already approved by Mr. Cruikshanks. We're still working with Ms. Hanks to purchase the mounting hardware and the laptops to go in the trucks, and that was also approved in this past budget. Again, questions I'm free to answer. I do know that the first year maintenance support and the subscription fee is paid the first year in the $30,000 that we requested. The next 4 years, we'll have to pay that annually.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve this service agreement with Central Square Technologies?
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of software license and service agreement with Central Square Technology.
Motion by Ms. Haynes,
Second.
second by Mr. Carroll. I'll open the floor to discussion. Questions? Mr. Cruikshanks, do you feel confident with this contract?
Yes, sir. I'm learning more about software than I've ever wanted to know, to be honest with you.
Anything? Anyone?
Mr. Kane, could you tell me what line item is coming out of the state's funding towards capital? I'm assuming we can't buy software with capital.
I believe it'd be operating. Yeah, operating and maintenance line item.
Any others? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Greg Lindley to come forward for a request for approval of used fire trucks disposition.
Thank you, council. I've been talking with Billy Wilson and we have, the county fire service has 6 trucks that we need to get rid of. We have took delivery of 6 new pumper tankers from Deep South. We have 2 more being delivered tomorrow and 2 more next week, and that will be all 10. But now we have the 6 trucks that the county owns that we need to get rid of. Deep South, which is the company that we signed a contract with to purchase trucks from has made an offer of $100,000 to purchase these 6 trucks. This would be a trade-in value. They would write the county a check for $100,000, and I'm requesting that $100,000 go toward buying the remaining equipment that we need to put on some of these apparatus, if that's council's wish. Myself and Billy both feel that this $100,000 is probably the best we're gonna get for these trucks. If we go any other route, we're gonna have to pay to advertise and pay to sell these trucks. And I think this is something that we need to take advantage of.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation from Mr. Lindley. Is there a motion to authorize the sale of 2001 Freightliner pumper, 1999 Freightliner tanker, 1998 Freightliner pumper, 1998 Freightliner pumper, 1993 International, and 1990 Pierce, for the total amount of $100,000 coming from Deep South fire trucks? I got a motion by Mr. Patterson, second by Ms. Anderson. Now I'll open the floor for discussion. Anyone?
I just want to know, during our budget session, is this the same company that was bringing the fire trucks that we said something about the moving kind of stuff? Is it the same company? You remember that? It's not about the same one. Remember we had gotten a truck, and I think somebody mentioned that it took a long time to get the truck.
I think those were EMS box trucks.
Oh, they were box trucks.
Yeah, I don't think we have not had any problems.
Okay, I'm
That's good.
sorry, I know it was somebody that was kind of.
Yeah,
taking a long
this
time.
company has delivered on promise.
Okay,
You know,
all right.
that's- that's
Greg, this, I see the newest truck on here, the 2001. Is these trucks, are these the ones that were built in the lower part of South Carolina?
The 2001 Freightliner is a Central States. That was built by Rosenbauer. That would have been out in Dakota somewhere.
These were the last of Larry Hall trucks here. If for any of y'all, Larry Hall was the
Well,
one.
we went through on some of these trucks, some of them had 400,000 miles on them, to put a milk truck tank on them.
Those are gone.
Yeah,
These are
those are
trucks
gone.
after those.
Yeah, these were after that.
But
Say this 2001 Freightliner pumper, how many miles is on that truck?
it's got right at about 120,000 miles.
Did we buy it brand new?
We bought it brand new.
What department did it come out of?
It's coming out of the Lawrence County Fire Department. It runs a lot of calls, from that department. That's why it's got so many miles on it.
Are we taking anything off these trucks, man, on some newer trucks?
Everything comes off the loose equipment. The only thing that stays on these trucks is the original light bars that were on them. The ladder package, all the ladders stay on because the new trucks come with new ladders, and these ladders, we just don't need them. The old hard suction hose stays on the truck, but everything else comes off.
Well, I think you're going the best route, and not pay the advertising, because when you sell them on auction, you gotta pay them 10-15%.
Correct.
Probably the best deal you can get.
No deal doesn't bring anything.
No, and if we do the auction, I think we made what, $1,500, $2,500.
The most I've ever sold a fire truck for was about $2,500. Yeah. So
I think it's the best deal we got.
Yeah.
I agree.
Any others? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. 7-0. Before you leave, Greg, next, is there a motion to authorize the proceeds from the sale of these 6 trucks to be used to purchase equipment for
the trucks we're getting now?
For the new trucks?
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of the $100,000 that we get from the sale of the truck we use to put the new trucks to come in.
Motion by Ms. Anderson. Second by Mr. McDaniel. Any discussion?
This money, this is really not county money here, this is special service tax district money. It does not belong to Lawrence County, even though we say it's Lawrence County Fire Service, it belongs to special service tax district. So the only thing we can do is keep that money in the fire service. It can't be put nowhere else. So I can't think of a better way of spending it than buy equipment you need in the fire service.
I agree with that. Any others? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. 7-0. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, council.
Next, Greg, you're still up for request for approval of Waterloo Fire Station remodel.
As council's aware, the council approved us, in the budget, last budget, to, allow us to hire some 24-hour firefighters to put in the, around the Lake District, Waterloo, Cross Hill, Mountville area where we're so short on volunteers. I thought when we did that the building at Waterloo was gonna be sufficient without having to do a lot of remodel. I was wrong. The station was not designed in the 70s to have somebody sleeping in it. The station now has to meet current fire code and building code because there's gonna be somebody staying in it. And we're looking at about $90,000 to install sprinklers, to remodel an office into a bedroom. But I think it's what we need to do to provide that service in that part of the county. The truck is currently at night, the crew is sleeping at the Madden station, which is located on Stagecoach Road, about 7 miles from Waterloo. And we need to get that truck at night closer in that area for response times to get them to be able to get the Cross Hill off quicker. So I am asking council to allow us to take money from the fund balance reserve to complete this. Keith Garrett here, fire marshal, he can take your questions, Keith knows code a lot better than I do. But the reason we're in this predicament is because the building was not built specifically back in the 70s with a bedroom in it, and because we're going to change the type of building that it's going to be, requires this to be done.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation, and I'm assuming this is coming from the fire service fund balance.
Correct.
Not the county fund balance.
Correct.
I'm gonna make a motion on this, that we authorize expenditure up to $100,000 coming from the fire county service fund balance. That provides in case we have some small ones. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Anderson. Any discussion?
Are there any money left in the grant? That $3 million grant to upgrade the fire station?
Bond.
The bond, you mean the bond?
Bond, I meant.
Yes, sir.
bond. I said grant.
No, sir. No,
It's
sir.
all gone.
It's all gone. In
It's all-
fact, we have, we took another $360,000 out of the other fund to cover the extra work that needed to be done. Because we did this work, past 5-6 years when contractors were going crazy. If we'd done it now, we probably would have had a lot more money left over.
Well, we still owe, what, 6 years on that bond? 7 years, something like that.
I don't remember the date on it.
It's over $3 million.
It's a 13 issuance,
2015.
15 issuance,
So we owe about 5 more.
about 5 more years.
10-year bond issued in 2015.
That's all I got.
Any others? The motion has been properly seconded. I'll call for the vote. All in favor, spending up to $100,000 in fire service fund balance for the specific purposes of the remodel of the Waterloo to bring it up to code to occupy 24-hour personnel, signify by raising your right hand. 7-0.
Thank you,
Thank
council.
you, Greg.
Greg, I want to say something before you leave. I'm not gonna be on council much longer, and you made a statement just a few minutes ago about you was wrong. I'm gonna have to say, that might be the first time you ever been wrong. I'm
Thank you,
gonna tell you have carried this fire service, you improved this fire service in this county like everybody in here or everybody in this county ought to look up to you and tell you thank you for what you've done in the fire service in this county. And they've been several times, I know that other counties have tried to hire you from Lawrence County and you refused to do it because you wanted to stay in Lawrence County. And I just want you to know that I appreciate what you have done for our county. And like I said, there's very few times, if I can't even remember that you have come forward and asked us to do something in the fire service and we agreed to do it. You and along with you, other people, I know it's not just you, but you and the other people have come forward and did what you said you was gonna do. And we got a fire service in Lawrence County that all these other counties look up to. And I'm gonna tell you again, thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Wood, and like you said, it's not me, it's a team, it's a team. It takes volunteers, it takes this council, it takes my staff to make it.
Any team needs a good leader. You a good leader.
Thank you, Mr. Wood.
I'd like to follow up with that. I'm reading a book now. It's Secretary Mattis, when he was Secretary of Defense. And it's a leadership book. And I really want to follow up on what Joe just said. For someone to stand in the public, your own live audience, and say, I was wrong, it takes a mighty big person to say that. And that's a leader. And so I wanted to say thank you for that. That's a hard thing to do, and it takes a mighty big person to do it. So thank you for what you're doing for all our employees too, but especially stand up and say, I'm wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pitts.
Next is public comment, and this time I'll open the floor for public comment. Please step forward, state your names and your position, and address council. This time I'll open the floor for public comment. Seeing no one, I'll close the public comment and open the floor for county council comments. I'll begin on my right, your left, Mr. Carroll.
No, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. McDaniel.
No, sir.
Ms. Anderson. Mr. Wood.
I have
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Patterson. I have nothing new.
Wow.
Next is, we do not need an executive session. We've already had it. This time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Patterson. Second by Mr. Carroll. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. 7-0. We are adjourned.